have to strip ourselves off daily, every moment, to allow for him to live in us, to allow for him to flow through us. Because when we have just a little bit of us, it could be that tiny mixture. The word of God says a little leaven the whole lump. So it's so easy to allow for that tiny piece of leaven, no matter how big it is, to leaven that entire lump and change it into something that's not what he meant for it to be. So I've been impatient, and I realized that a lot of the times the messages that he has me to give are my answered prayers. And it just came to me as I'm sitting there like, well, you haven't gave me anything to say today, Lord, so what am I supposed to say? Because that's how it happens most of the time. He waits until I get up here for me to completely trust him. And so in that trust, it's giving him that control. It's giving him that yieldedness to stand up and not know what you're going to say, but let him use you the way he wants to use you. Because a lot of times we get into this place where we're like, oh, well, yeah. But then that one is that little tiny piece that can mess us up. That it could be so small. It could be one little attitude. It could be one little feeling, one little emotion, no matter what it is, that can set us off on a whole different course. So in the game of basketball, there's a point guard, and then there's two guards, a center, and a power forward, or however you want to verb it. But the point guard is the person that's leading the court. So they're the one that sees the full court because they're behind everybody, but everybody's in front of them, so they can see the entire court. So they can see things before we can see things when we're at the base of the court. So in that, there's defenders and there's referees. So the defenders are making sure we can't get the ball. They're making sure that we can't score. They're making sure that we can't do our offensive move or play that we're trying to do. So God is the point guard. He can see it all. So he can tell, like, no, she may appear to be wide open, but if I threw this right now, the defender is going to deflect that, or they're going to get a steal, and they're going to take that from her. So she's not going to be able to receive it. There might be a situation where you're past the ball and you might double dribble, or you might try to move too fast and then you travel. So when God is trying to give us something, we have to posture ourselves, position ourselves into the place to be able to receive it. Because if we think we're open and we're not, that can cause a problem. That could be a distraction. That could be our feelings. That could be our emotions. That could be the enemy, a demonic influence. But as long as we stay in that place where we're focused on him, and we can take a look and see, like, okay, Lord, let me see what you see. Because in that moment, he might be like, hey, go to the left just a little bit. Or, hey, come up this way. Because he can see it all where we can't see it. And I haven't been including him. I've included him, but not enough. That little bit, that little piece of me has been in desperation, searching instead of trusting him for what he's already promised. So we've wasted time for what? Because of impatience. He's given us time. Because what's for us, nobody can take from us. So I don't know who needs to hear or who needs to be encouraged, but whatever you're waiting for, that promise, be still. Trust him. Sometimes it's hard to give someone complete control, and that's where we have to be still. We have to be still and know that he is God, and know that it is going to come to pass no matter what it may look like. Because right now it's not just one storm or two or three. We're facing many, a multitude. But God said, peace I leave you with. I'm not going to take you out of it, but I'm going to give you peace in the midst of it. Is my peace, is my grace sufficient enough for this such a time as this, where you've never faced this many trials at once? Are you going to trust me through it? Are you going to be still and realize and know and acknowledge that I'm good enough for you? So I just encourage you, trust him, believe him at his word. Don't doubt it, because it's going to come to pass. But if we're not postured properly, we might miss it.